Right, welcome along to Migraines Month. I am speaking to Maryon Stewart. Maryon, do you want to just tell us a little bit about what you do and how you can help women with migraines?
Sure. So I've been helping women with hormonally related problems for a long time, probably more than 30 years altogether. And I have obviously, in amongst that, seen women with migraines. In fact, we treated, between my team and I, tens of thousands of women all over the world. And I can only remember one woman who ever went off still with migraine headaches.
Wow.
So it's not a bad, I'm quite proud of that. And there's lots of reasons why people get headaches, obviously. And I would always say if someone is suffering with headaches, they should be checked out, because a very small percentage of people have an underlying health issue. And it's important to work that out and make sure that's not you before you set about doing natural things or whatever it is to try and deal with your headaches. Sometimes we get headaches because we're tense and stressed. Other times it may be because we've got a sinus problem. And other times it could be because we're hungry. You know, we haven't eaten and we're not hydrated. And so we may end up with a headache. But very often people get cyclic headaches. So they have, in their premenstrual phase, which many women who are going through perimenopause are still menstruating. So they're likely to have a cycle probably with bells on, because what tends to happen at perimenopause is you've got more symptoms for longer. You know, it seems instead of having PMS for a few days a month, it seems like half the month or more. Maybe for some women, it's almost every day of the month is a PMS day. And the migraines can come and hit you anytime. Sometimes women get them in a concentrated cluster around the time of their period. Other times they get them during the month. And sometimes I was talking to a woman the other day who said that she'd had, in this cycle, she'd had, I think, 4 lots of migraines that lasted about 2 or 3 days each one. So it can be life stopping. You know, it can make you take to your bed, and it can really prevent you from being able to function. And that it can be really extreme. And there are lots of ways that you can deal with it. Obviously, you need to see if you should be taking medication. But a lot of women, when it's hormonally related, if they can get their hormones around the right way and their nutrients into an optimum range, the headaches go away. And maybe also changing your lifestyle. So if you are very tense and you've got a lot of stress in your life, that may be something you need to deal with. But there's a whole shopping list of things that you can do to help yourself to overcome headaches. So I don't know if you want me to just kind of plow on and work my way. And I should say probably that I think they reckon that 80% of people in the world get headaches, and women are 3 times more likely to have migraines than men. So, and that's probably related to our hormone cycle, because the vast majority of women get cyclic migraines. So they mainly get them before their period or during their period. And then it goes off again.
And that's why I wanted to cover it in this, because obviously in perimenopause, when our cycle is, shall we say, unpredictable,
Yes.
put it mildly, obviously then, so during your 20s and 30s, assuming that you've had a standard cycle in that time, you know, if you get a migraine that you know comes in day 27, well, you can kind of plan for that, can't you? But then suddenly, as you come into perimenopause and things are on this sort of lovely roller coaster, it becomes much harder. And obviously then prevention is at any age, prevention is a much better thing. But certainly when we really don't know what's coming around the corner, the more we can do. So what would be your sort of, what sort of...
Well, I think the first thing to say is that it's not like taking a pill, a painkiller. So whatever you do, you need to do every day of the cycle to get yourself into good shape. And the first thing I would say is to make sure your nutrients are in an optimum range, because we know very often that women have low levels of important nutrients, and that completely messes with their hormones, their brain chemistry and everything. So that's probably the first thing. Eating a wholesome diet, making sure you don't skip any meals, and that you have the food you like, and that if you crave food and if you're still menstruating, then your calorie requirements go up by about 500 calories every day in your premenstrual phase. Not many people know that. And so you may have to have a snack mid-morning and mid-afternoon. And that may mean that you want to make your meal sizes a little smaller so that you're not having too many calories during the day, but equally you do need extra to make the transition from one cycle to another, because our iron stores are at their lowest about 4 days before your period. And so that's because you're bleeding and making the transition from one cycle to another. So I guess that would be my first point of call. And then there are things to include in your diet that help. So things like ginger. I tend to put in my cup every day. I've got mine sitting here. First thing I do in the morning is I chop up my fresh ginger and put it in my glass with my herb tea and slice of lemon or whatever. And during the day, I just keep changing the tea bag and I keep the ginger in there, because ginger is really good at helping to prevent headaches. And so if you are a headache sufferer, you can put ginger in your stir fries, you can chew crystallized ginger, but I try and include ginger into your regime because that will help you enormously. The other thing you need to do diet-wise is to consume Mother Nature's estrogen. So bear in mind, as your ovaries aren't working as they used to, you've got empty estrogen receptor sites, so you need to fill those up. And that means eating things like soy, flax seeds, and maybe taking some red clover pills, something like Promensal. And we tend to have to do that every day of our lives for the rest of our lives, because we're never, once our ovaries stop functioning, then you're never going to have naturally occurring estrogen in your body again. It's just that simple. There are other things you can do. So for example, stress contributes to headaches, and maybe being hunched over your computer for too many hours a day, your shoulders get all tense and everything. So massage is particularly good. You can give yourself a head massage. There are acupressure points that you can press on your forehead. There's EFT, which is tapping, that can help with migraines, acupuncture, cranial osteopathy, just so many things that help the body to be in the way it should be physically, and for everything to be flowing around your body. And relaxation helps. So I try and practice what I preach. I try for half an hour a day, I try and do a formal session of relaxation. I usually try and do it in the afternoon if that works, but if that doesn't, then you can do it after work. And I use, because I'm not much good at meditating because I have such a busy mind, I've got used to using an app called Pazziz, and that has been created by neuroscientists, and it takes you into a really deep, relaxed state, and it brings you out again. And what that tends to do is it helps to rewire your brain. And I find if I feel tense and I feel like I've got headache coming on, by the time I've got up from that, I'm feeling much better. And then physical exercise helps as well. So obviously if you've got a headache, you can't go and do that if you've got a migraine. But on the other days, you can do, whether it's dancing to your favorite music, it's doing your hula hoop, or you like to walk or run or swim or whatever it is, but find the exercise that you like to do. It helps on so many levels, but it also helps to oxygenate your brain, which helps to prevent the headaches in the first place. So that's really important as well. Then there are some supplements. So things like feverfew, which is a herb, has been shown in clinical trials to help with migraines. So if you haven't tried that before and you've got headaches, then it's an idea to do that. And you can get little migra sticks as well. I don't know if you've ever seen those, but you can put those on your forehead and that can help. Those are full of essential oils. So that's another thing that you can do. And having a massage, going to have a massage, or giving yourself a massage, your shoulders, your head, getting your partner to give you a massage can really help a lot, because often the headaches are tension related, and they are the fact that our muscles in our scalp, in our jaw, in our shoulders and our neck go into spasm, and that closes off the blood supply to the brain, and that's very often why we get the headaches. So it's important that you do all of those things really to get yourself into better shape. And it, as I say, it works like a charm. It's finding what works for you, and everyone is different, but you will find once you've got yourself sorted out and the headaches are under control, that they shouldn't come back again.
Oh wow, okay. So it is making those changes, but none of the things you've mentioned are huge changes that feel scary to make, are they?
No, no, they're not cute. They're not scared. Well, having said that, I think when women start my program, they probably do think it is a bit scary in the first week, because there are, you know, we don't like going out of our comfort zone, do we? We're creatures of habit mainly, and we do what we do. And unless we're in terrible pain, we don't want to make those changes. But obviously, if you've got migraine headaches and you do need to do something, these are not too onerous, and they are things that you can incorporate into your lifestyle. And that's, I think that's really important. And the other thing is breathing. My word, do you know something? No one ever teaches us how to breathe. If you go on YouTube and have a look at some of the TEDx talks on breathing, it is amazing what you can learn just on how we can oxygenate our body and our brain and keep ourselves on an even keel. And I think if you practice good breathing as well, when you feel a headache coming on, which is partly what I do when I'm laying down doing the app, it's just to really relax everything, oxygenate everything, and it works. It does work. We've got to nurture ourselves, because I think as women, we're here for everybody else. We tend to put everybody else first, don't we? We go to work, we look after the house, we service our partner, our kids if we've got them, our pets, or whatever it is, and we come last. And so that catches up with you after a while, especially at the moment during COVID, because it's been so stressful for all of us. And it just means that we've got extra things to do over and above the life we had before. And so that can make lots of difference to the amount of headaches you get.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you so much. We'll do a few links to any free any of your sort of blogs and things that you have about managing migraines.
Yeah, I've got a blog on managing migraines. I've got a film on YouTube, managing migraines. I'm just trying to think if I've left anything out. I think, oh, I know what I left out. So there are amine foods that contain amines are things like cheese, chocolate, pickles, and alcohol. And those can and citrus fruit, and those can make your migraines worse. So what I do in the beginning is I ask people to come off those and give themselves a chance to recover and get their nutrients into an optimum range. So yeah, it's kind of lots of moving parts, just finding out what works for each individual. But yes, we have more information. There's information on YouTube, on my website, and there's a virtual class as well that people can go to.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time, Maryon.
That's okay.